Right, shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahavashai, Waharakah Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And I was thinking about the other day the importance of having a basic foundation in the scriptures. You know, you got to read the scriptures. You got to read the history. All right, you have to put in the time. All right, you have to become almost like a scholar when it comes to these scriptures, man. All right, you can't be like these goofy Christians, right? When you come into this truth, see a lot of these goofy Christians, they don't know nothing about the Bible. They, they don't have the knowledge because they don't really get into the scriptures, man. They don't study it. They know more about their sports team. They know more about everything else, right? Entertainment. They know more about Tupac Shakur than they actually know about the scriptures, and it's a damn shame. You know, this is Second Timothy 2:15. It says, "Study to shew thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." Okay, you got a lot of people that claim to be Christians and they never read the Bible. You know, they're not familiar with the history and the stories. It doesn't ring a bell. You know, if they haven't heard their pastor talk about it, and they don't know, and these pastors don't really cover anything. Now I'm gonna give you an example. We go into history. A very important people that we interacted with was the Philistines, right? You know, the most famous of whom was Goliath, right? The Philistines were our enemies, man, for a very long time. You know, even our forefather Abraham had interacted with them. Right, the Philistines. Right, you go through the scriptures; they're mentioned so many times. Right now, where do they come from? Who are these people? Now, most people would believe that the Philistines were Canaanites because they dwelled in the land of Canaan, but that would be erroneous. All right, the Philistines were not Canaanites, even though they dwelt in the land of Canaan. So, who were the Philistines? Where did they come from? Well, if you go to Genesis 11, Genesis 10th chapter, we're going to find out. If we go to Ham, and after Ham, we're going to go to Mizraim. Where is it? There we go. So it says, and Mizraim begot Ludim, and Anamim, and Lahibim, and Naphtuhim, and Pursuhim, and Casluhim. These are all the different peoples that come out of Mizraim, aka Egypt, out of whom came Philistim. So Philistim came out of Casluhim and Caphtorhim, right? Philistim. That's where you get the Philistines. Yeah? Now, if you look at the meaning of the name Philistine, it means immigrant, right? Because they were immigrants in Canaan, because they immigrated, right, into the land of Canaan. They were Mizraim. All right? So the Philistines were Egyptians that dwelt in the land of Canaan. Okay? But you ain't gonna understand these things unless you study the scriptures. See, it's all in there. It's all in there. The Bible is filled with knowledge, man, fundamental knowledge for our souls, man. And that's just an example that if you ask the average Christian, you know, okay, well, the Philistines, who are they? They ain't really gonna understand who they are, you know. And that's why they don't understand the rest of the scriptures, because they don't have fundamental knowledge, and the Lord ain't dealing with them. Okay, so when you come into this truth, try not to be like like them. Do study to show thyself approved. Do study the history. And our apostles and elders encouraged us to do that. And it builds your knowledge and understanding of the scriptures. The more you study, the more you understand, the more you can link things, you know, from one period to another. Because you know the origin of things, you know the beginning of things, you know the progression of time, right? You understand what was happening between the ages. You have an understanding of timelines, you know, from the time of the judges onto the time of the kings, you know. You can understand what was happening during the Babylonian captivity, the Persian captivity, the Greek captivity, the Roman captivity. You have an understanding of that. The average Christian has no understanding of biblical timeline of events and how they relate to each other because they don't study. As simple as that. All right. So I thought it's just something that was on my mind. I wanted to speak on, man. Study to show thyself approved. Yeah, you watch the videos and you get these breakdowns, but then outside of watching the videos and getting these breakdowns, you got to also be reading as well and getting your knowledge up. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.